Premier League Poker is back as Season 6 hits Asper's Casino in London town. 16 of poker's most famous faces have descended on the capital for one of the most prestigious titles in the game.
Oh, I'm so excited for this heat right now, guys.
Woo! Got 8 warriors doing battle.
When you're done shouting me down, I'll respond.
It's fear. You know you'll lose.
You're a contender, and I'm the champ.
Boom. Yeah.
This is the Party Poker Premier League, and it is crunch time for Group A. Heat 4 represents the last chance for some to ensure qualification for the coveted final table. And with a $2.2 million prize pool and one of the most prestigious titles on the line, they all want to progress through. Here's how things stand before this final heat.
Over the past 3 matches, we have seen masses of banter and needle.
Daniel, you're like a dog. But I was a favorite in the last 8 pots I played.
Nice to know I'm an idiot.
Rather bluffing, it's more fun.
I gotta listen to this and take it all the time.
One player has stood above the rest. Jonathan Duhamel took a win in Heat 1 and a runner-up finish in Heat 2.
I love this game.
The pressure was on in Heat 3. Jungleman acted out of turn one too many times, and tempers rose.
It's not even on you.
I didn't intend to, I just didn't
It's
see
never on you when you act.
You really think I'm trying to angle with this?
Yes.
Then you're an idiot.
Heads Up saw last season's winner Scott Seiver and Antonio Esfandiari battling it out. The Magician went on to take the maximum points to keep his Premier League hopes alive. Group A are now arriving for their last league game. Points have been scrutinized, and the gloves are off for this final bout.
I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.
Here's a reminder of how the points are dished out. The winner will get 16, the runner-up will get 11, then 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 0 points for coming in 8th place. And tonight, it's their last chance to accumulate these precious league points. Heat 4 is when the Wolves begin to howl in the Premier League, and you're going to think there's a full moon come out in Group A because players are going to be making plays you've never seen before in poker. It's all about the points. And when this heat finishes, the top 3 players on the league table are going straight to the final table, and 4th and 5th place go to a playoff. Nothing else matters. Now for Jonathan Duhamel, he is the only player of the 8 that no matter what happens, he will be on that final table. We've never had a situation before in the Premier League where every other player in the group still has a chance to get that automatic promotion. It is so tight. So for players like Antonio Esfandiari, Phil Hellmuth, the Jungleman, and Sam Trickett, they're going to be more concerned with what each other is doing than anything else on that table. And for Daniel Negreanu, for Scott Seiver and Marvin Rettenmaier, they're a little bit off the pace. They need to make things happen. But if it goes well, they can still get that automatic promotion. Hands are going to be crazy, tempers are going to be running wild, and let's see who's going to that final.
This is probably the most bunched up league I've ever been in. I mean, you know, it just seems like there's nobody who's relegated at this point. Nobody.
Luckily, I'm in a situation where I don't really need to avoid anyone, but everyone kind of needs to avoid me, so hopefully that'll go well.
Everyone's so tight that, you know, if I finish 6, it's just over. You know, it's basically done. I need to come 4th or better at the very least, but really to like feel very comfortable, I need to come 3rd or better.
I don't think the situation is too bad for me as it is, even though I'm last in points before the last heat. Yeah, I think I have a pretty good chance of making it through to the final.
Welcome to Asper's Westfield Stratford City Casino for what could be the greatest show on earth.
Oh, I'm so excited for this heat right now, guys. Oh, this is going to be so good.
I don't know, you were supposed to come out firing yesterday, but...
Tight is right.
That is right.
Don't you...
So I knew that. I knew everybody was going to play yesterday.
He said I played like a fish 3-handed yesterday.
I heard him. He was yelling at you.
I
and he
tried
was
to
actually
bet.
really
I
out
tried
of
to
line,
bet
too.
Scott.
He was wildly out of line.
You were really out of line.
I was out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
During a hand they're playing, you were telling him what to do.
We were
That affects
mid-hand.
Scott.
During a hand?
Yes.
Oh, then I
You
was
were-
out of line.
You were saying in the little hand,
You
he should be
folded your
pounding you.
button and
And he
then
hadn't even
started
acted yet in the
talking.
small blind.
Okay, if that happened, then I was out of line.
Yeah.
But,
you did
but in these
Yeah,
leagues,
then I got kings and got pounded.
You were also out of line one other hand.
Thank God
When
I
you limped
played
with
it
ace-4 spades,
masterfully,
he
though.
checked the small blind, he moved in. You said, you think I'm limping with less than an ace here?
While there's a third
He had
person
ace-8,
behind
so you told him he had an ace,
you. Yeah,
and then he
so
allowed him to
That's what
fold.
let him fold.
no, but I could, but I don't have to have an
I
ace
know,
there.
but it's a three-handed pot. You should do.
You're wrong. It's the first time I've ever
No,
seen you wrong.
that's not true. You're not allowed to talk about your hand in a three-handed pot.
It was pretty clear that you had an ace in your hand.
Yeah,
I
he
guess
did.
you're right.
Yeah.
James.
You almost had me wrong. Almost.
Who exposed the card while I'm
For you to bring it up, for you to bring that up is kind of
of
wrong, but you're kind of right. I mean, everybody's talked during three-party hands in
No.
this, in this
Yeah.
Premier League, so I'm surprised you'd bring it up.
About your own hand, though. It's different. You said you think I'd limp with less than an ace here?
Yeah, but I could have had like
No, everybody's
9-8 suited. I limped with 9-8
Yeah, no,
in
I
the
saw
first
that.
heat.
Yeah. I mean, you
Twice.
could be lying, but
Yeah, of course.
Marvin's awake.
I just did not see this card. This is just surprising to me.
Logic behind the ace king suited fold. I like it. Yeah.
I hope Marvin just had aces there and it's just rage tilted.
What was the hand? What was his? What did his opponent have? The ace king. What did you have with that ace king suited hand?
Ace 9, I believe.
Ace 9 offsuit.
To be fair,
I would have got down a river anyway.
ace king
you
has
would've gone there?
really bad
I would've
equity
gone
against ace 9. Really bad.
I think I would have gambled with the ace king there.
Gambled. I'd be fist pumping it in.
I would like pull out my watch and been like,
I would have put it
are we
in there,
betting more?
Marvin.
Are we betting more?
Because you need a double up to get more points.
Phil
You know?
Hellmuth says he would have put it in, you know it was nitty.
That's for sure.
That's true.
Let's play.
But I understand the reasoning, so I don't think it was that
Unlike
bad a fold.
Antonio, right?
You were out.
I was waiting for that part.
Well, Antonio has clearly proven that he has no clue what's going on, right, Phil?
He had 9-3 and 8-2 at the end of the monster chip.
Right.
Why would he ever take
Right,
a
right.
risk against Scott when he's already got the 3
Right. He was supposed to. He wasn't supposed to put pressure on
With
Scott.
9 deuce and 9-3?
I would have gone all in every single
wasn't
time
supposed
if
to
he
put
was-
pressure
I never
on
said he
Scott.
was supposed to put pressure.
You were gonna go all in every time? Really?
Hell no, I would not do that. He limped with kings. Why would I want to double up Scott for free for no reason when I can just let you guys
You
play?
couldn't
best in
raise
the world.
30 every time he entered and make more money?
What's
Are
that?
you, are you serious? You don't think Antonio makes more money?
He already
Daniel,
wins.
you know something? I
can't even lose.
You know what? You're so. It's what's really annoying is when people start arguing and they can't win, and then all they do is.
Marvin's just give me the check.
That sounds like an out-of-turn action.
Trying to get me the
Marvin.
penalty.
By the way, Phil, Laak, this is one of those situations where Jungleman may be playing a little too loose. It looks like a standard raise, but
Look at Marvin. Marvin knows he gets to play all of his hands. This is just a raise.
and Jungleman, who is a guy who in the last Premier League struggled with some of the strategy decisions.
I love it.
This is where he's going to find trouble.
Points. This was a points fold. It was a poker play, but now he's going to feel it. He's going to see that I should have thought and not bet.
He's shaking his head. He knew this was going to happen.
Okay, that's what
He'll
I'm
probably
saying.
fold because he's going to see it now.
He has to fold.
Put pressure on him, but he didn't know
So
that.
beautiful.
So I don't even think. he
And
knows
Marvin, obviously, he did have a king-queen suited, but he knows he could have done that with any
10-4
two.
clubs.
And
Phil came in second.
it doesn't matter. And that's the kind of extreme things you're going to see happening.
Yep.
You need to
Actually,
win.
whoa, he actually understands it better than you do.
Yeah, he
By
understands
far.
better than me.
Yes.
You know the difference between a win and a second for him? He has
No,
a
but it's
chance.
not he's not coming second anyway.
Oh, he could never come second.
No,
Oh, I
not
see.
really.
Okay. Well, then you win the argument.
I mean, it could, of course, but it
Oh,
doesn't
he
matter. who
could?
plays.
He couldn't finish second?
It's better for you to be out for him.
Oh, he could never finish second. Well, then you win the argument. I
Bottom
agree.
line is he's better to have you out third. That's a fact.
Well, of course it's
That's
a
what we
fact.
call slam dunk.
I agree with that.
So why would he want Scott out?
What do you think I was trying to do three-handed? I wanted you out.
He's just not going to care. Yeah.
Why would he abuse Scott?
I understand your argument. That's so beautiful. Your argument's like slam dunk, absolutely.
And it's also correct.
Of course it's correct. You're like the kid in the candy store saying 1 + 1 is 2. 1 + 1 is 2. Is that how you
Last
win
time
your
I
arguments?
checked, 1 + 1 was 2.
Yeah, and I agree with that immediately. So why are you wasting my time?
This is a true meeting of the minds,
About
everyone.
15 minutes ago, you said,
Scott, stay out of
about
this.
5 minutes
Why
ago,
are you
you
wasting my
said,
time?
because 5 minutes ago, you said I was fighting an argument I couldn't win, and I just won.
Oh, so you think you won the argument?
I did win the argument.
He
Okay,
did.
Daniel.
Daniel did win
I
it,
did win the
actually.
argument. It's
1
clear.
+ 1 is 2. I agree with you.
There we go. Nice.
I have no idea what you
Were you on debate team? Let me finish with Daniel.
I
Were you
didn't
on
finish high
debate team?
school. I
Can
didn't
you
finish
stay
high
out of this,
school.
Antonio, for a sec? Were you on debate team
I
in high
would have if
school?
I finished high school, but I never got there.
Buddy, I think when it comes to debates, you would win because you shout down your opponents, get all emotional, and don't listen to the sophisticated, obviously correct reasoning. Because you never let a guy get there. It's just all blah, 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 blah. You wanted Phil to finish third. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So he did everything he could to make you come third. How's
Okay,
that not logical?
but that's the wrong play.
According to you, because it hurts you?
No?
For a lot of
definitely the right move.
guys who always know what the right thing to do is, there's been a lot of discussion here.
Some of the points decisions are easy and some are skewed where the math meets the cards.
Negreanu can open much wider and can play pots because he has much less to lose. He's
Rettenmaier is
currently in
supposed to
sixth
just play
position.
hands.
Slightly different Marvin today.
Rettenmaier is always supposed to be involved here.
Guys, I did not see this coming. This is weird. That was great form. That was great form.
And they will play a pot.
And I'm going to check in the dark.
It's like double
It's
Hellmuth.
something that I give him a free card, right?
C-bet 100%, Marvin, I believe.
Well, Rettenmaier,
I would bet 28.
I mean, he knows that Daniel doesn't have to be too tight because Daniel is playing pots just like Marvin and just like Seiver, theoretically. And Phil Rettenmaier, who's basically had a VPIP of somewhere around 9 or 10% throughout this entire
It'll probably
Premier
be
League.
70%. It'll probably be the highest, is my guess.
He is going to go banana land here and has
He's gonna win
already
the tournament.
started.
Marvin's going to win. Marvin's going to win. He's the best.
Nobody played worse than you did in the second heat. You didn't even study the strategy. You've been out touring London.
Kid, I never said I wasn't a fish. I'll be the first to admit I'm a fish. But anytime you want to play heads up, I'm available.
You see, this is the problem, Phil. Every time you come at him, he comes back with this one line, and then you have nothing to say. Like, he comes back with like, I'll just play you heads up. And you go, "Bleh."
I have something to say. You offered me a heads-up match.
Yeah.
I'm better than you heads-up. But
So
why
then
would I
would
play
you
you?
play me?
I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why.
No.
Wait, let me say
hold
why.
on, you're-
Scott, can I?
I know the reason.
Scott, you know what? You're gonna just shut me up. Do you want to hear me, or you want to interject? You want to tell him what I'm gonna say? Can I say something?
Say it.
All right, Antonio. You know why, Antonio? Because you're a contender, and I'm the champ. Why would I ever give you? Why would I ever give you a title fight?
Title fight.
Why would I ever give you a title fight?
Strong.
What's the
All
most
I can win
what's the
from
most
you
you
is
ever won in one
money.
tournament?
All I can win from you
What's
is
the most
money.
you ever won in one tournament?
He's here to make history.
Huh?
Now he's giggling.
That's a very clever cop-out, is what you got there. It's a very clever cop-out. To just be,
Cop-out?
It's fear. You know you'll lose.
You're scared.
To most of the top
You're
players.
scared. He can't beat me.
So you come up with a line to avoid playing the top
He
players.
can't beat me, Daniel. I just finished second.
Prove
in
it.
Let me finish.
Prove it. Play him.
Is that your?
How
you're
else
just
can you
gonna
prove it?
And winner gets to
Okay.
shoot the loser with a taser gun.
When you're done shouting me down, I'll respond. But finish
I'd
first.
love to shoot him.
If you want to prove you can beat him, there's only one way to do that. It has nothing to do with the past. It has to do with everything to do with the present.
Right.
Play
So
him.
so as soon as you're done talking, let me
Done.
know.
There's nothing more to say.
You're done. You're not going to interrupt me again.
Fire away.
Okay, good. Because I'm sick of the attack dog stuff. I mean, it's not. You lose arguments and don't know you've lost them. That's your style. But let me finish for a second. I'm the champion, baby. He's a contender. I've got nothing to gain by playing him except money. What am I, 10% favorite in a heads-up match? So what did I make, 10,000? I just finished second in the NBC Heads-Up Championship, and I have a first. I'm one of the best heads-up live poker players on the planet. No limit
So
hold'em.
you'd say Mike Mattisau is the champ, and then you're just a contender as well. You guys should have a number one contenders match then.
I had to play Mattisau because he made it all the way to the finals.
As far as this hand goes, Duhamel, now Duhamel could have won this pot by just going all in from the button. But Jungleman was playing no set, no bet, and he has hit this hard.
Yep. That's true.
This is huge for the jungle.
How did you get on in that tournament? Oh, you didn't play?
I did a lot better than most. I did a lot better than
Never
Lowe's.
mind.
Duhamel can bluff this a lot if he wanted to. He decides to get up.
I'll probably
Get
win
out.
it next year.
But he can bluff that.
I didn't make the registration.
Yeah. Didn't wake up.
I busted 3
It
reds.
is a little early. Blinds 1 and 2 for Duhamel to do something crazy.
He has to hope
But
that
the fact is, on that button spot, Phil, if he did move in from the button for 300,000, they have to fold pretty much every
I thought
hand.
you'd say that.
Yep.
You pay me $1 million if anybody finds out the results.
Yeah,
Then I'll play you. All right.
And
So you got to pay me
$1
$1 million if anybody finds out. I want you to post it. Because you're going to whisper to one person and it's going to be out.
Say it and then someone finds out.
No, I won't say anything.
No, the only thing is his bank teller will know because
gotta bet
it's going to increase $1 million.
Incorrect.
and
It'd be very
that'll
hard for
just sort of be
Antonio
a tell. So
to
that's the-
play
We're only playing for like
Hellmuth in a
100K
match.
Okay.
And for not one person to know, his girlfriend,
No, it's going to
me,
get
somebody
out.
close
Someone's
to him
going to
would
get it
know.
out, and then he's
I
going
wouldn't
to pay
tell
me $1 million.
anybody, but-
You know it's not, can't stay quiet.
Well, if it comes from you, that would be cheating.
That's what I
It's
said.
not me, but there's going to be other floor people there. There'll be people
Why
there.
would you not want anyone to find out the result?
If I win, I don't win anything. Everybody expects me to beat him.
Nobody expects you to beat him. I promise if you pulled a lot of people, nobody would expect you to win. They
The
would,
whole world expects
they
me
would
to
give
win.
you a price is what they would do.
All right, would
The
you
whole
consider
world
this
expects
table?
me to
Hold
win.
on. Would you consider this table a leading table of analysts of poker?
I'll deal the game so that no one
All
else
right,
can find out.
I'll make you a
make a
bet
cocktail wager.
that
Yeah, what do you
6
mean?
out of 8
What
of this
you
table
want?
will say that I'm a favorite over you heads up.
Of course they will right now.
So they don't know what they're talking
No,
about.
will they be lying? Do you think they'd be lying if they said it? I checked.
They'd probably be lying because they're trying to tilt me right now.
Okay, so you bet that we'd be lying on top of that.
See how they're trapping him?
I might even give you all 8.
They're saying,
Mr.
from an ethics
Mr.
point of
Attack
view,
Dog,
you're saying
stay off
6
me for a
was...
minute.
I waited till you
They're
were done.
trapping...
I let you finish.
John would never lie.
Esfandiari is
trapped him in a
limped
logic loop, and Hellmuth had to say that and was scared
Listen, if
away.
you're going to insult him in every heat, right?
Esfandiari is limped in under the gun, and he really has to have a huge hand here, and he does.
Am I
It's
wrong?
not like John Travolta being attacked.
I mean, you attacked him in every show, called him stupid
And of course,
and
2
dumb,
cards,
every
over
single
cards.
show, and you expect that that's okay because you're you, and nobody can call you the same.
I never called him stupid or dumb.
You did.
Yes, you did.
No,
Yes,
I
you
didn't.
did.
I said too dumb too. That's different. There's a big difference.
Let's just bet and get this hand over. They're talking so much, I can just get this hand. I mean, I'm probably the best hand. Let me just, this is regular poker hand. You know, that was just poker.
I'd say that if you asked 10 people, you said he's too dumb to, that would infer that he's dumb.
That would imply that everyone here knows how to count to 10.
You said I called him stupid.
You did.
Really?
You did.
I used the word stupid?
Yeah.
You said dumb and stupid.
You implied I was an idiot.
I don't remember.
idiot.
I don't. I
Whichever
implied.
No, he outright said it. He definitely outright said it.
okay with that,
He'd won. He outright
I
said
have my
it.
moments, Marvin.
I like this. This is fun for me. This is. You know why? Because I was expecting this.
Shocking. You expect
who do
to
you
say
think
stupid
started it?
things and have people say something.
Who do you think
Who
started,
started it?
Yeah, who's the first person to insult
Antonio by being
Antonio?
stupid?
Right off the bat, who attacked Antonio? Was it us or was it you?
Do you think?
I think if you review the tape, you started it.
I agree. It looks like I started it.
But
But the fact is, I did. But it's irrelevant because you guys were all going to start on me anyway.
Oh.
I just got
an
the first.
assumption.
Dog crimes now.
Can't Marvin do this to
that's
Negreanu
an
as well?
assumption, is it?
It is. You assume that we're going to do
Didn't
that.
you tweet that you like to make fun of me because it's fun?
It is.
Doesn't he have to raise
So
this as well?
you're
Doesn't
saying
he
you
raise
weren't going to
everything?
make fun of me?
That doesn't
crazy.
matter.
Only reacting to things you said.
Innocent until
I wasn't going to
presumed
just
guilty.
come out of nowhere.
He wants to
Oh, you
play
weren't just
pots
gonna
against
come out of
Negreanu,
nowhere.
No,
but
so you got
Negreanu
something like-
also
You're an
needs to
attack
get
dog.
chips.
You've already
Yep.
got me like 4 times.
21.
Just don't believe it.
You want to play some big ones, huh? All right.
Negreanu only has 16 points. Marvin at the bottom with 14.
Well, I guess Negreanu knows that Marvin Rettenmaier is going to shadow him, so they're going to have to see flops anyway. And look at this, Negreanu's flop, the joint.
God, the party poker guys love this. Talk about value.
I wouldn't have minded a C-bet from Rettenmaier.
I really want to know what
I might have
percent of the
C-bet
nonsense
there.
that comes out of your mouth you actually believe.
It's so
You could check raise
much
here.
higher than you
It's
would
tough.
expect.
Really?
If he check raises,
You like to
What
get
percent of the
he's in
nonsense
a really
that
bad
comes out of his mouth do you think he believes? Like 100 or it's all an act?
I'm staying out of this. You fight your own war. I don't want him
Oh,
attacking
God.
me.
4-5?
Huh?
Really?
4-5? Y'all.
7, really?
No.
That's nuts.
That was a 5. You showed 4-5.
Better.
He had 4-5. 4-5. You flopped the wheel.
Oh, I did.
Check folded, Marvin. Check folded.
raise pre-flop, ace comes in bottom check fold. That was so genius.
Wow. Wow. That's sick.
That's like
Wow.
wizardry.
Wow, that's sick. But Marvin, given that he had 4 or 5, terrible.
Anyone else a champ, or is it just you?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What makes a champ? 13 bracelets or main event winner? What makes a champ? I want to know.
Main event winner, definitely.
Right, that's a champ. What else? Anything else or no? So only main event winners are champs, right?
Yeah, I wish you had ace king or something.
God, that'd be nice, right?
I'm not going to answer anything until it's clever. You can ask me stupid questions, but
You
I'll
called me
answer
a
when it's
contender
clever.
and yourself a champ.
Oh,
You
I
wouldn't
guess
say
that's
what
fair.
Daniel was.
Okay, that's fair.
I just want to know what is a contender
Okay,
and
that's
what is
fair.
a champ.
Contender's a
That's a
compliment.
reasonable question.
Contender's a compliment.
Okay, so contender's a compliment. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate it.
It is.
First one this week.
So now, who else is a champ?
Yeah, how many champs?
Who else is a champ? That's what I want to know.
Antonio won't let it go.
And then who's the #1 contender?
I think Phil's best tack here is silence, like he's doing. This is good. It's displacement activity. Looking at his fingernails.
No comment?
If I say someone at the table, it gives them extra confidence. That's bad for me.
Doesn't work that way. Believe me, everyone at the table would take it as an insult if you complimented them.
That was good.
That's really funny, Scott.
It is pretty funny.
By the
Actually,
way,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's why I
funny.
thought
That
Phil
is
Hummel's
very
best
clever.
response was no
We
response
need
right
Phil
there.
Laak at this table.
We do need Phil Lock.
Why do we have him
Phil,
at this
come
seat?
down here.
This is when things get interesting.
Phil could just
Limp
sit on
Daniel.
the sofa, you know, chat with us.
Daniel?
Limp with a
Limp
announcement.
to get Daniel, he says.
Limp
I
to
said
get Daniel.
limp Daniel.
Oh.
See if anyone ever gets a hand here.
Stay out of your way. 10-9 of clubs.
Marvin.
Here comes
Yeah,
Marvin.
Marvin raises, and I don't blame him.
And the question is, what does Hellmuth do?
I think raise for value.
I like this Marvin today. Sexy fun Marvin.
If you
Marvin's
if
very
he raises,
fast.
sevens is just going to get away a lot of the time.
Based on how he plays. You should like Marvin
Right?
every day. Great guy.
I would make him pay.
There you go.
Essentially, if Hellmuth gets knocked out right now, and I know he has aces, but if he gets knocked out in this hand, he's
Raise it up,
essentially
Marvin.
out of the Premier League.
Right, so he's going to make a big raise.
42.
He doesn't want to get, if he's getting action, he wants it to be for a lot of chips. And this is just, he's not going to call this because it's too much of a percentage. He realizes, you know what? It's
You better move
1/6
all in
of
or
the stack.
fold.
Leading the witness.
I'm going to stay quiet.
He's trying to work this out. Will Hellmuth call if he moves all in? That's what he's thinking.
Now, heads up in a cash game, you can say anything about your hand and what you should do and your ranges and my ranges. Three-handed, you should never say anything about anything poker related. Now it's heads up. In cash games, it's different. In a tournament, you're not supposed to say, well, obviously you have to raise or fold, or like, I have a pair above jacks, revealing strength quadrants of your hand. I don't think that's the right thing. I think it's illegal in some events and discouraged in others. I think that's how it goes.
I think in general, during the Premier League, because these are all high-class players, table talk is encouraged, and those rules are slightly relaxed.
I believe this is true, and I think it's good for poker too, and leave that in the responsibility of these ethical, smart, balanced, intelligent players. You know.
Now, Phil Hellmuth, even though he knows he can get knocked out of the Premier League if he loses this hand, with 2 aces, I do believe he's calling because the value of a double up and the chance to guarantee himself the final table is there.
He's loving action right now. He wouldn't be loving action with 9s, but this is a whole different situation. I hope Marvin has the discipline to just see that he's beat.
Well, does he want to go? Does he want to go no?
Well, no, he knows he's fighting an overpair. Hopefully, you know.
Cool.
He's set pedaling, by the way, and he's ace king dodging. He says, well, you know what? He might have ace king. This is going to be terrible if it's 2-2-4. 2-2-4 could be the end of Rettenmaier.
Hellmuth doesn't love this, by the way. He likes it now.
This is the best variation for Marvin. Face cards are exactly what he's afraid of.
Rettenmaier's going to think. He knows that even though he's liable to be able to pick up a lot of chips, Phil, he's also has a chance to also be first out.
Yep. Marvin's always going to end this hand. Oh, Marvin's going broke. Marvin might have, in a different world, only lost 60, but now he has to lose his whole stack. This is... I'm a little sad. The second somebody bets, Marvin's going to be happy to get it in right.
I mean, this is a very complicated...
Any bet, if it's, you know, it's all getting in. There's no way it can't all go in. Even if he calls on the and checks the river, Martin's still gonna bet, and then he would go all in. So there's no branch that where it doesn't go all in if you know what I'm saying.
He's trying to look like he has 2 kings, isn't he? Or 2 or ace king.
Or ace 10 or king or whatever. This is great. I do believe Hellmuth on any river is going to lead for approximately 110. Check. I think. Oh, I would have led for 110 if I was in his brain, but I was wrong. Now, this is 100% bet, and then it will all go in. This is what Hellmuth loves. Hellmuth loves when his opponents. Yeah, he's always committed for the rest. Look at that, it's just too small an amount. Now
Call.
What?
Set?
Call?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course.
Why wouldn't you raise?
Call.
Cool, Phil.
Why wouldn't you
He could have
raise?
had King 10.
King 10,
Yeah.
like, most likely.
They're abusing him right out of the game.
So obvious, says Rettenmaier. He's gotten hammered, and this is the kind of other thing that can happen in the Premier League in this 4th heat. If Rettenmaier bagels, everybody profits.
Trickett for sure understands, although he doesn't like it.
Still a full table for Group A's 4th league match. Join us for more in a minute.
We are in London, one of the most exciting cities in the world, and the buzz in this part of town is Premier League Poker, an event showcasing 16 of the biggest players in the world. They've won bracelets, titles, and big cash games worldwide. Now they face the Premier League, and only 3 of tonight's lineup will progress through to the final. Let's get back down to the action.
Just a little clarification here about the tiebreaker rules, because with the points so close, tiebreaker is certainly a possibility, and for those who don't know, if 2 players finish the league on the same points, it's the player with the highest individual finish that wins the tiebreaker. For instance, if 2 players have 16 points and one of them has a first and an eighth, and the other player has 2/3, then the player with the highest individual finish, the first, would win the tiebreaker. It's something that, whether or not it comes into play by the end, it certainly comes into play during the heat, when these players have to figure out who they have to come above and come below. Hellmuth going to exact pressure a little bit. It's different for Seiver, and the reason is because Seiver is in the relegation zone right now and knows he has to make forward progress. Phil Hellmuth can barely control his bubbliness. He had a rough ride in the first 2 heats of this Premier League. Heat number 3, he became a man, and now he's learning to fly.
Check. 2 pair.
And you know, all the strategy that the players had worked out, everyone at this table, for the beginning of this heat, that all goes out the window now, Phil. Everyone has to readjust because Hellmuth has moved ahead, and they have to now start thinking about.
And now they see it's harder for them, you know, because now there's a.
If Rettenmaier bagels, and once Marvin Rettenmaier bagels, he's still got 71,000. Is that wow? That's actually a lot more.
I mean, that money should be in Hellmuth stack. Every pro at that table is like, wow, I would have had that 71. That's. I'm sorry, Hellmuth, but there's just no time where the guy doesn't have. He never has King 10. Think about how that hand went. And by the way, I think Marvin's a good enough player that he might have folded a set of 7s there. Is that 6? No, but it's not a fold, so he has to call. So he has to go broke, yeah. But could anyone get away from that? Could Stewie Younger get away? You know, Trickett with a real hand, King Queen. Seiver. I mean, I think Seiver can consider raising here for the same reasons Marvin was trying to do it before. Position, ostensibly the best hand. If it's not, it could get better hands to fold. But what happened was he elected to call.
Right, it's Hellmuth.
And then Hellmuth raises with
three-bet this
eights.
from the small blind.
And he's pushing pressure on both these guys.
Phil Hellmuth going to start rolling over this table, perhaps, Phil Laak.
I wonder what Hellmuth would have done had Seiver made the raise. I mean, I think he would have just called or folded. I don't think he would have raised if it went raise, re-raise.
I'm not sure what Seiver's modus operandi here is in this format. He seemed, you know, he's got a lot of reasons to play like Negreanu and Rettenmaier, which is just go for it. But it's almost like he's taken the attitude that if he preserves his stack a little bit, opportunities might open up later. And, you know, he might be right. He's a clever guy. He says, why do I have to blow my load, as it were, during the first round? Let's see what happens when the blinds go up and people are under a little more pressure. I kind of like that, especially considering what's happened to Marvin.
How he wakes for the real
28,000.
And this is a very Hellmuthian thing, where he 5-6 X's
I really do.
with strong hands that he doesn't want to get called with. That's exactly this kind of hand. You know, it's not queens or kings where you want action.
We're going to learn a little bit about what Seiver's intentions are from what he does right now.
I think Seiver's going to make a big bet. Because, yeah, I think that's right. That's if you look at Hellmuth's history, and Seiver knows it, and he's seen it, because you know all these hands are being posted. He's seen this pattern: 5-6 X's or ace, kings, ace, queens, not kings and aces and queens. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point.
He's seen the limit raises and this and that with the super demons.
The dynamics here are that Seiver can theoretically swing freely because he doesn't have that much to lose.
I'll tell you this, Hellmuth is going to fold, and the reason why we know this is one of the benefits you get to these larger bets is the range of bluffing is very thin for Seiver. Seiver's not really doing this with hands like king, queen, or ace, jack. He's just not, because he knows that Hellmuth is always committing with the ace, king ones, you know, and he does this with ace, king just as often as ace, queen. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's gonna fold. It's just half his stack. I think it's a very interesting hand.
I wonder if there's another dynamic at work. And the dynamic being...
No, this is just him walking into a hand. And he'll figure it out.
I might have to put the money in against most of them.
Would have been very tempted there.
Against the guy doesn't give a shit who's long points.
No offense, Sam, but I was going to call you if you were ace to re-raise me.
Everyone's after me all the time.
No, I'm not after you, but it just looks like I don't have anything. Of course I do.
I just wonder, Phil Laak, if Phil Hellmuth does call and knocks Scott Seiver out, if he's doing a lot of other players at the table a favor that he doesn't need to do.
You're a fun guy to bet with. You change the rules halfway.
Isn't that good? Raise 4,000.
It is fun picking up a hand every hand, though.
I wouldn't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the left corner, Mr. Jonathan
picking up a hand every hand.
Duhamel.
Jonathan Duhamel.
I would pay so. Oh my God, I'd pay so much.
I like this.
Wow.
Duhamel. And no cojones.
No.
Let's have a look. Probably shouldn't, but you never know.
5, 8, 7 with 4 players.
Like everyone else, I also hit him.
And Nines loves his hand and doesn't. More love than not. Trickett needs the points. This is I think I would have checked raise if I was Trickett, which is what you think he was doing. Now he's...
This gets very
Trickett is early to act. I would have liked check raising on the flop. No one bet. I like betting for value here. But look at what happened with Jungle. Jungle got there.
He's got there and then some.
It's just a weird spot because the 5 just the 5's not going to hit anybody that often.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes, but you're in a spot.
I really like this call.
You can take a
chance to push back the face jack.
Actually, Jungle likes this because this hits Trickett's range. Trickett could use this as a scare card because ace is in his range, but it would hurt him if he does it. Well, we'll see. Did he check? Did Trickett check? Or is it still on him? I can't see.
Of course, these are two guys.
Trickett checked. Trickett checked his nines. Now we're waiting for Jungle. Jungle's getting his head massaged. He's going to go for value. There's 103 out there. What's he going to bet? He's hoping that Trickett made an ace in the river.
70,000.
I like this bet because if your opponent has an ace, you're getting called a lot. You know, if he has kings and all these little weird nines, you might get value called. It's like weird. And all the airs are just getting folded anyways. Your opponent either has something like, you know what I'm saying, Jesse? When you know your opponent has medium to strong hands and you know you have him beat,
which
it's
is where
unlikely
Jungleman
that
is,
right. Jungle's got this since he knows if my opponent has a hand, he'll be more likely to call. That's when you can make little higher bets than the 50, 70%, 60%. You can just go for 75%.
I think Sam's trying to work on the dynamics here. I mean, would Jungle float him and then bluff him? I mean, is there any value in that at all?
Oh my God. I'd be playing. Big difference. 6 points.
And how did the ace change things? I mean, and what possible reasons does Sam have for calling? He has called.
If he thinks his opponent's bluffing 40% of the time, he's got to call.
I guess the check raise all in wasn't going to work. I guess the check raise all in wasn't going to work.
Sam just said, I was thinking about check raise all in. It wasn't the play, was it? The Jungleman said, I would have been a little bit nervous. Say what he would have done, though.
How steamed is he?
Could be one of those nervous, then just call. You know?
We didn't expect this kind of action early, did we?
So sick. Look at the point standings. I mean, Marvin is just heart rate, life support times 20, compliments of what I think was a small technical error on Phil Hellmuth. And then Daniel Jungle's got 430 and everyone else is around 300. Sam's taking that little hit to 200, but
Only 4-5 and ace-5.
No bagel has been given out yet.
But Negreanu's going to find out that this is, you know.
I mean, he had a huge hand. The only this is the 2 hands.
Look at you. And Esfandiari, this is definitely trying to preserve and get long-term equity out of his hand. His hand is so strong. He's going to trying to get lots of value by looking at a flop. Look at how far ahead ace queen of spades can be.
Right, and Antonio is a little handcuffed though.
He's handcuffed, but it's a hand versus hand. We have, you know, actually even Negreanu has a pair of 4s, but you gotta love the 2 over cards and the straight draw. That's like the nuts, and you gotta love 9 jack. That's the nuts to a flat in the, you know.
Well, Esfandiari.
I mean, Marvin has to go all in here. He has to protect the value of his hand. It's.
I wonder, Phil. I mean, Esfandiari, he's kind of representing a hand way bigger than ace queen. He could easily have kings or aces here, couldn't he?
No, I don't know.
Never?
I just think this is. I would have gone all in if I was Marvin, because you're probably winning.
Yeah, 4 or 5. I don't think would raise.
Antonio's going to lead a lot of pots. Oh, look at this. Marvin trying to get super value, trying to hit a blank and then go all in. This is like nuts. I don't know. A lot of cards could change things.
Otherwise, he can solve it.
Oh my God! A lot of people love this card.
Everybody loves that card.
This hits everybody. Everybody. Antonio loves it. Rettenmaier loves it. Negreanu and Esfandiari loving this card.
I mean, just think of.
Did Antonio checked, right?
I don't think he's acted yet.
Oh.
I was just wondering about the dynamics of if obviously he's not worried about Marvin because Marvin doesn't have that many chips. But
I like this check. You know, I've got Daniel way over there. Let's see if I can get there cheap. Somebody might have a jack or a 10. You know what I'm saying? I'm against the made hand. Let's see. Why wouldn't Marvin go all in? I think this is. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand this. That jack 9 just doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you, sir? He's got 59 left. The pot has 36 in it. How can he not put that money in there? Antonio gets there and checks for value. He does super pot control move. He's calling everything. You know what I'm saying? Any kind of bet he's calling. Marvin.
Well,
Marvin, by the way, is now surviving where he would have died because Antonio wasn't going anywhere for 40. You know what I'm saying? Antonio was calling with the nut.
You say Esfandiari is calling anything. I mean, he certainly couldn't call an all-in from Negreanu. I mean,
correct. That he
things
couldn't
are
call.
very, you know, things are very extreme here.
That would have been ugly.
I've never played that hand so nitty before in my life. Ever.
But I don't know how Marvin survived that hand.
Guys, I'm gonna fire
I don't know how he did. Marvin now has 58, where I would have 0 for what it's worth.
Scotty, I need you over here. Oh, boy, guys.
Guys. No one, everyone is out of turn this hand.
No, only one person.
Yeah, I guess only Phil.
Because they always, I actually asked
Just me,
beforehand. I asked beforehand, and they said that just
continue playing.
That's a one-hand penalty.
He's putting the jacket on.
Yeah, put the jacket on, because this one's bad.
Well, this is, I actually asked them before, and this one's not our fault.
Yeah.
Of course, this sort of harkens back to the last heat when the Jungleman was acting out of turn and he was given a penalty.
Yeah, let's see if he's taking it like a man.
What's that? Right.
Yeah.
That's not our fault. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Luckily, he's not the big blind. He's under the gun.
Jungleman.
I feel it should only be the 2 people to the left that get penalized in this spot.
Race, 5,000.
Wow, they got Hellmuth on a one-hand penalty. They're just trying to needle him. That's more of a needle than anything else. It's only worth $200, you know.
Doesn't get one either.
Oh, they're just trying to needle everyone on their game. And Hellmuth, the right play there is you take the silent, miss the hand, let it move on. You never fight when you're wrong as a gambler if you're smart.
That's what I do.
He knows he did it.
Yep, and he knows it was an accident.
Learn from the best.
And it
I've seen you do that.
it doesn't matter that it didn't matter. It could have mattered. You have to defend against it. Marvin decides to set pedal his pocket deuces against the other short stack.
Yeah, exactly.
And 2 pairs obviously going to bet, and Marvin should just fold him. It's like, you can't raise the guy out.
It's like bridge. You have to signal what you have.
Better to wait and shove later than to do anything here.
No, I'm serious. It's just like bridge.
Rettenmaier and Trickett, the 2 short stacks, the 2 walking the plank. Essentially, a bagel for anyone at this table aside from Duhamel could mean the relegation zone. Usually, at this stage, guys are kind of guaranteed at least to make the playoffs and free rolling the promotion zone, but not here, not with this so tight. Hellmuth and Cates out front.
Group A's last league match continues when we return.
So much fun. Look at these 8 guys here, and any of them could be still going through to that final table, but the minefield, the drama, and now for Marvin Rettenmaier, kind of the back foot.
Slide that, Just for the camera. Even if you don't want to look, you know? That's what Phil could have played if he had the chance.
Is that a penalty for Scott because they folded and he didn't act yet?
Rettenmaier's actually hung around a lot longer than I thought he would after losing that big pot.
I really hope to see him outlast somebody because of. I would like to see it somehow cost Hellmuth later, because then Hellmuth can feel the pain of that branch. It's most likely never going to be expressed, you know. Most likely he goes out and then. But he's a survivor.
Okay, then it worked.
Sam limps, or wait, Sam.
He raised, and tiptoeing through the tulips is Seiver and Duhamel.
Duhamel nothing to lose. Scott something to lose. Scott obviously with a hand. Duhamel wider. Duhamel light wider.
Duhamel is going to have fun tonight, and he seems to know the spots.
Yeah. He just bluffed from the big blind.
I've done it in
every one.
The great thing about Duhamel is that the longer this goes on, the stronger his position becomes. So
also the worst feeling
he just wants to kind of pickle around and wait until he finds the places he can put maximum pressure on, and they'll come. Here's the standings, as you can see, Duhamel clearing away, but so tight between the rest, Phil.
It's so sick. I love this kind of heat. I've never seen this. 2-2, 4-4.
And you can see those relegation zones, Negreanu, Seiver, and Rettenmaier, they're the ones who've been kind of pushing it a little bit. And Trickett in a bit of desperate straits right now.
I thought you had to hurry.
Yep. Trickett and Marvin.
Just not like giving every time you 3-bet me, I'm going to flick you in the ear, John.
Yeah.
The Jungleman has played, this is his 4th heat now. He's been deep in every heat. Has there been any point during the Premier League where he has not been receiving a massage?
Yes.
Oh, that's correct. Let's see.
I think $125,000 entry fee and something like a $17,000 massage bill.
Let's see. It's probably going to be less than that, but it will be very high. If you figure 10 hours of massage, 40 hours, 50 times 3 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to fold.
It's about $2,000, 1,500 pounds probably.
That's some big.
Yeah.
He was just going to fold dark, but then he looked at his cards.
But I think
His hand brought him in.
the kid deserves it, you know? He's got a lot of pressure. He needs to relax.
Duhamel raised this, called by Hellmuth in the big blind. And even though Duhamel can put lots of pressure on, Hellmuth's got plenty of chips. So how about this? Duhamel just shuts like a trap door. Tried it once.
I like these kind of bets. You figure your opponent might just fold the 8s that's beating you. You know, that's really what it's designed to do.
Queen is good there.
And the guy raises pre-flop, and he checks the flop, and just like...
I think that might be the difference between Duhamel and Mad Marvin Rettenmaier so far. Duhamel just shuts down when there's any resistance from the tight guys because he knows he can get them later.
Yep.
Marvin now fighting out of the back.
Bless you, Jungle.
8. Raise 8.
What is going on? Duhamel raises with 10-3, figures I can do anything with impunity. I think Jungle is playing a little too tight to just call there. He's super way ahead of everyone's
What should
range.
he do?
Raise.
And then what if he gets called by a guy who's got more chips than him?
Well,
still the bagel is
he's playing
live.
Wow, Negreanu's got the right idea. But I think Jungleman might be playing his jacks like they're so strong. He's going to commit here, I think. He's going to re-raise Negreanu. I think Hellmuth might just...
I don't think it's the right play.
Hellmuth might fold. Oh, well, if Hellmuth's never raising, he might call because he has the button and a very value-strong hand. But I don't see him raising because it's too much of a minus EV thing. Duhamel, this is just absolutely wrong.
It's super powerful. I mean, Jungleman absolutely has to fold right now without any question at all.
It sure looks like a survival play. Yeah, it sure looks like if he only knew that he was supposed to commit with something. It's so weird. Negreanu.
These are all the dynamics.
I agree with folding the jacks. Isn't that weird? Just because Duhamel plays this 10-3, now Daniel should have been playing a big pot with Negreanu. Jacks versus King Queen. It's all changed up. If it was just Phil, Negreanu, and you know what I'm saying? It would have gone raise from Phil Hellmuth, call, or raise, call. You know, it's weird.
Interesting.
Well, Negreanu's in the relegation zone. Duhamel's not.
Wow. Duhamel flopping the best hand. Why is Duhamel doing this with just 300 chips to start? 300K. I don't, because he's that far ahead in the points. He can just.
He's got 31, and everyone knows it. He can just put pressure.
He's supposed to make a big pressure play now and block off Ace Queen or whatever. Can he put it all? He has to. The pot's 148 now. He's kind of like handcuffed. You know what I'm saying? He's handcuffed with a junk hand that's probably winning, so he's supposed to get money in.
Guess you have aces, right?
37,000.
You have aces.
Sure I do, says Duhamel. I have whatever you want me to have.
You have aces?
Maybe.
Aces were good.
Daniel knows. And the other things that are going on, Phil, it's not just that Duhamel can put pressure on, but that no one at this table is theoretically upset to see Duhamel take the chips.
Correct.
It doesn't hurt them at all for Duhamel to take chips from other players. That's the other thing that makes him so powerful.
Yep.
Everybody, no one is gains by knocking Duhamel out, theoretically. It's the other
really hard
players
to-
they
I
have
mean,
to worry about.
It's really hard to
It's
just
squeezed
imagine
your
how
brain,
everything
hasn't it?
is. I'm just
It's
having.
pinched your head.
Because Duhamel's often folding 10-3. It's not like he takes that line every time. He takes that line 12% of the time in that spot, you know? He just decided I'm doing it this time.
Now,
look at Duhamel thinking I can just keep doing this forever. Hellmuth with probably a 5x bet or a call.
Yeah, he thought a couple times about it, and it is tricky. The good thing, as far as Hellmuth is concerned, and Jungleman, not only are they immediately behind Duhamel, but they have more chips than him. So,
yeah,
you know, they can let things develop a little bit. But I still think they're no set, no bet with the pocket pairs against the Canadian.
Yeah, there's a bunch of set peddlers on this one, and one of them came home. And another guy has a nice pair. And the sickest one, Duhamel, I think has enough opponents that he shouldn't bet. Well, doesn't he have enough opponents? I mean, queen through 9 is dangerous. There's 2 of those cards in there.
Well, I mean, Esfandiari, I don't know if he could call more than one bet here. You have to. I think you really have to have a strong hand like a set to call.
Right.
And
oh, look at this. I mean, now Esfandiari is going to be very lucky because it's hard to overcall this with just a queen jack, but he probably will.
Don't forget.
If he gets raised, if there's a raise from jungle, Antonio can get saved. But I see Antonio losing at least this bet at a minimum with a call. Oh, this might save Antonio.
Everyone here is ready
Antonio
to
can make a pretty easy fold with a raise here.
Now, this is where things get itchy. Even though the Jungleman's hand is super, super strong.
He'll never fold, by the way. He's hoping queen 10, because the probability of his third best hand not being the best is like so small enough that he's got to, this is where the math just overrides all point considerations. You don't worry about the demons in the closet.
I believe Jungleman covers him by a bit as well, but Jungleman's going to think this out.
No, he's not. He's just trying to figure out how to get more. Jungle already knows that Duhamel can just do anything he wants. He can just do things with impunity. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's afraid that Jungle doesn't. He's afraid that Duhamel might not have enough to call a raise, so he might have to just call.
And the Jungle just plays poker anyway. He just makes positive EV decisions,
yeah,
doesn't
he's calling. This is just like a trivial call in like every dimension.
He's happy to play. If this pot is for $125,000, he doesn't mind anyway.
He loves it.
He just wants to be ahead. Nothing else. But obviously, even if the Jungleman is good, and he thinks he probably is all the time, it is a bit of a drawy board. I mean, it's unlikely for Duhamel to be doing this.
He's not worried about
dead,
the gutter balls. He's not even worried about king jack. It's like.
So he's just going to let.
By the way, I
Duhamel
think
bluff
Duhamel might snap out of it. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? People just snap out of these things. Although he picked up a draw, but not a flush draw. He picked up a draw. It's reasonable to bet. I would have shut down.
77.
How face up is Jungleman's hand to the rest of the table, including Jonathan Duhamel right now?
Jonathan Duhamel's like, he has to have king queen now. He's definitely shut down because the minimum I think would be queen 10 or queen king. He didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's really calling with ace queen anymore.
What if a 9 or ace comes?
I don't know.
What if a jack hits?
Super blank. That's a super blank. And if Duhamel tries to go for it, he is gonna feel the pain.
Oh, he has shut down.
Yeah.
He's checked it back.
Jack eye. That was sad.
Wow.
And I think Jungleman just got a little confused, and rightly so perhaps, or understandably so anyway, about the upside downside of putting the bet in against someone like Jonathan Duhamel.
That's so absolutely uber nuts, man.
We have the most elite field battling for points, and no one wants to leave empty-handed. The drama continues after the break. This is Premier League Poker. Group A's last league match is in action, and players are concentrating on the point permutations as they make a bid to move through to the final table. As ever, at this stage of the event, it's getting very complicated. Jesse May is here to make sense of it all.
Essentially, it has never been this close so late in the Premier League. Duhamel there, 31 points. He's the only player guaranteed. And Rettenmaier, of course, short stacked and low pointed, has the most to do. But for everyone else, anything is possible. That's what makes the strategy so elusive. Hellmuth here with the raise to 8. And the 3-bet from Jungleman.
All right, Jungleman, I call you.
I mean, most
I need a 6
people
and a 3 that last hand.
in Jungleman's spot would be clamping down with the chip stack. But this is the jungle. And welcome to it.
51.
Bet out and a quick check raise from Phil.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This call is based on something called, I don't know. What is it called?
Well, it's called I Cover You. I think that's exactly what it's based on. I have more chips than you do.
That call just means you have a 4 or a jag beat, right? This is so absolutely sick. And I really think Hellmuth will have to fold to any kind of raise. Oh, so sick. There it is, the raise. Jungle is my favorite. I think Hellmuth has to fold this every day of the week.
I hate poker sometimes.
I love poker.
How much?
I love poker.
I hate poker sometimes, he says.
But this is Hellmuth's style. He does like to get people to put their money in wrong by doing this stuff. He picked up a draw.
He's definitely folding now because he basically told Jungleman what he has.
It's true. It's true. You know, lamenting with another card to come. He can never call now, but if there was no more cards to come, he could give off all these tells.
It'd be really sick if you just turned 9s full or something.
Well, the point is, this pot is getting so big that they're set up for a stack size bet on the river no matter what.
I mean, but this is ridiculous that Hellmuth's talking. Every time Hellmuth says something,
What is it, 110?
you can't call if he says all this stuff.
I don't think he's
I
calling.
don't really have ace-jack.
I don't think he's calling. But he is Phil Hellmuth, and he's going to try and make a soul read first, isn't he?
Because you can't go all in anymore. Can't. It's like weird. This is one of those, the weirdest.
Well, one of the interesting
Hellmuth knows that I can be getting bluffed. Oh my God, because the jungle just is a jungle man, you know? But he has to fold.
I don't know. One of the interesting
Any of these players call there? Does anyone call of those players?
Well, a lot of it has to do with not just, you know.
No one can call. It's a thing. The math says you just can't call.
All right.
Oh my God, he is a champion, and that's why. That's how he does it. He just gives up when he has a hand, and then he lets them hang themselves into him. Oh, this is brilliant. Phil Hellmuth is a god.
You know, you might be right.
God. Oh
you know, you might be right.
And he doesn't know
that Jungleman has.
Oh my God, and he's gonna value bet this to the sky.
I think
he just got there, and I didn't even see that he had a gutter ball, by the way, till right now. I swear to God, I didn't see that he had a gutter ball. I thought he just had the flush draw. This is absolutely the most insane thing ever, and knowing tendencies. This is sick, I think. Wow. I think Hellmuth.
He's going to have to go into the tank.
If he called the turn, he has to call here. I don't think he should have done that.
Don't forget, if Hellmuth folds here, or if he folded on the turn, he's still in second position out of 8. It's a very strong place to be right now.
Yep.
Got anything, Jungleman?
Uh-oh, Jungle should never respond.
He is not going to talk.
Jungle's up. He almost smiled, but he didn't. He's going to hold him. If Jungle breaks, it'll be disaster.
Don't forget, Hellmuth is the best reader in the history of the game. The best.
This would be reading the math. This is just...
He called! He called! The best reader in the history of the game! Paid off the Jungleman! And now could be out of the Premier League!
Just look at Phil.
Not fun and games.
I like your call.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
He's got a 4, and I think it's brilliant.
You knew he was bluffing on the turn. Everybody knew he was bluffing on the turn.
I knew he was going to try to give me all the money, too. It's just so sick.
I like your call.
I really do.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
tried to bluff off all his money. He had the Premier League locked up, and he decided to bluff it all off.
That's what he did last year too.
I know what he's gonna do. He still might finish 8th. Watch.
Oh yeah, probably.
Start chiming in and agreeing with everything.
Wow.
Nice hand, Jungleman.
Jungleman's got all the money and they're trying to give him the rub down. Tell him, Jungleman. Tell him you have everything. Everything.
It's the earliest we've ever seen somebody go to $1 million in this.
You did that nice shot there, right?
King Jack.
You know, hand 28 and we've crossed $1 million. It's a record.
I like your food. Yeah, I like your food.
Of course. I can't see the card. I mean, I was afraid maybe the 10 hit him like 10's full. I felt like he was bluffing his money off.
Didn't raise anything but bluffs on the turn.
Marvin is ecstatic. He now can maybe ladder up against Hellmuth. You know, he's finally got a companion down in the little brush fire of nothingness.
This ball, you have all the sheets, kid.
I know. There's nothing I can do. I mean, I feel like I played the hand great. I can't see the card on the river, you know?
I like that.
Scott, you made it 8?
Yeah.
Has the Jungleman ever
I can't
been
believe
this
he tried to
happy?
bluff
Look
off
at
all the
that
money to me,
smile.
though. What was he thinking?
Do you remember that red bike you got Christmas morning?
Yep.
That's the smile you have on your face now.
Sure is.
Can we get a menu?
Sure is.
And
I like Marvin folding that ace, whatever.
Such a beautiful line, Michael.
Yeah.
That small
Phil's line is brilliant. It honestly is.
It was.
Thanks, guys.
Honestly,
I
Phil, I can honestly say that's the best hand I've ever seen you play.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not just saying I know you lost the pot.
Thank you.
I think you couldn't have played your hand any better.
To get the most.
To get the most out of it.
wow.
Everyone's complimenting Hellmuth now. I mean, it was really played brilliantly and beyond the rim in many ways. It was absolutely showed heart of the 40th
Wow, when I
caliber.
check raced him on the flop, he called on the
Yeah,
4-4 jack.
I like
At that point, he has no shot to win the pot either.
That's the hard. Why it's so hard to consider.
9 or
these
10.
check
I
raise on the
thought maybe
flop.
he had 9s or
Kind
10s.
of an unfair card for him. How do you float with the still nothing?
I told you
straight
during the
drop
hand, I said this.
Yeah.
I said, you know when he raised you 51, I said, there's no hand in the deck.
Under the gun raise.
I actually thought it was like
I said to him, there's 0 hands.
he goes 0%.
Yeah.
Well, that was so brilliant, though. I got him to
why
call
I-
with
I know,
8 high.
That's why you played it
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it was.
Yep, everyone's
I'm
blowing.
waiting for that spot.
It's funny, you can play the best.
Never got it.
You said that's the best hand you've ever seen me play in my life.
Well, I've
and I
never played
lost.
you too much, but yeah.
I thought you played the hand like a genius.
It's true. Operation success, patient dies. Duhamel called.
Ever not bluff in the river.
It went bet under the gun call. I
That'd be the
think
worst.
Scott can just bet this, and you can let go of this
I
Saturday.
don't believe you.
Definitely bluff in the river.
I don't believe you. you can say you would, but I don't believe you.
Say you would
If
what?
you did, your play on the turn is bad.
What did Jungle say? He wasn't going to bluff the river, he said? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the worst bluff of the night by him. He had some terrible bluffs already.
He said straight.
He said straight, I had to look 3 times.
Yeah, well,
Wait, straight. Did the board come out this way? I wasn't looking.
I thought when he said straight, I thought one possibility was the king queen of hearts that he could have gotten himself
Yeah, because he was
battled up
overs
with.
to the jack.
But the 7-8 just made no sense to me. I was kind
Also,
of
why
in
would
shock.
you 3-bet a brilliant mind such as yourself initially with 7-8?
He's trying to go broke.
that's what he did.
Of course, Daniel likes his play.
I didn't. Oh my god! I said I laughed and I like this play now. Oh my god! How did I get involved? I was just sitting here quietly laughing, making it 9.
You wasn't doing that.
Now, even though Hellmuth is
Wow, Jungle's got over $1 million. Wow, it's so
He's 8-handed. He's got $1 million 8-handed.
We're not.
Yeah, but we all know Jungleman he's going to finish last or first. We all know that.
Of course.
But mostly he's supposed to finish last because he doesn't understand the format. We know. We all know that.
Part's pretty clear.
Yeah, we know.
I bet that he understands the format.
Why don't I come after? Why don't I come?
I bet Sam's still standing on the bench. Just can't help himself.
Sam, I'm very certain he does not understand the format.
He doesn't understand the
He just
format,
has no clue.
Sam.
We talked about it a bunch last year.
We talked about it a bunch this year.
There's a great video of Durr just like screaming at him. Like,
You know,
do you not understand?
everything's
The guy had,
got
the guy had 600,000. He had a lock to make the final table,
Waiting while, they
and he
can't
risked
deal
it
while
all
Phil's
against
standing
me.
giving a speech.
that?
They can't deal while Phil's giving a speech because they want the speech to come through.
even though everything Scott Seiver says, whether or not it's true or not, Jungleman did get second in the Premier League last season, and he's sitting here in
strategy.
the
I've been
absolute
bluffed
catbird seat.
I've been bluffed like one time before
Top pair.
when I had something.
I have the nothing. I see it.
But I didn't have anything else.
I have no
Yeah, you
pair,
showed the
no
8,
draw.
right?
Did I show the 8? I'm still sick. How do they always know my kicker? He said 7 high, I had 7 high. You say 8, I had 8. What the hell's going on? Have a seat. This is creepy.
You showed the king, obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
We had king 8.
I just went for the own.
Spades.
It worked.
Oh my god.
How did you call 7 high? You
Knew I'd
called the
show
bet
that
on the
'cause
Jack
it's
10
garbage.
4
Pretend
board.
like I had something
They
good.
would always call. That's why you played it good.
Yeah, that's why you played it so much.
Yeah, I don't like my mind is wired to like. One of my weaknesses is when someone hits a weird card on the river, I don't see it. All I know is I had him on 4th Street, and I'm going to call on the river.
We're still 8-handed, but
It goes
four
like
of
this.
the players are under 200,000 in chips.
Jungle in front,
maybe not,
Negreanu,
'cause at least I can
Esfandiari,
do
and
a lot.
Seiver pretty much
Going
level.
crazy with like the ace
And then,
something of hearts, you know.
Duhamel just out there with Negreanu with 200, and then
I don't see
Hellmuth
betting
and Marvin
queens,
on
so-
short supply.
Oh, the queen of hearts? Maybe. Maybe I fold.
Raise the 9.
I just thought an experienced premier player such as yourself would
be
have
able
just
to
check
sniff
called that flop, not to build the pot and give him a chance and protect your stack. But I guess I'm wrong.
Not against him. Against
Not
any
against
other player, I'd check call.
Yeah,
But he's so liable to bluff off his
That's what I
money.
wanted you to say.
Yeah, of course. You're the only other contender, kid.
So many times online in that same spot.
Tricky, you're the only other contender.
Boom.
Yeah.
More than that.
And a lot of guys might be contenders in a year or two at this table. A lot of talent at this table. A lot of talent.
Daniel Negreanu's opened this up, and Seiver's had the 3-bet.
It's Jungleman, you know.
It's nothing personal. It's not like the play.
What good is it? What good is it for him? He's the champion, and you're what is he? A contender?
He's not even a contender.
You're not even a contender, Jungleman.
If I lose to him, I look really bad.
Yeah. So.
But if I get to look at you, you're gonna. So another way, it's gonna be a lot of hands like that one, where I induced.
No, you almost got me. I just got Check.
You got the chips, man. You got the chips.
Are you here later?
He did. Meanwhile, Seiver's shut down a little bit post-flop, and he's got a
How many
fish
more
on the
2-4 hands
hook.
do we have?
33,000.
Can you call and ask?
How many hands?
That could put people
You
under
know
a little
Scott? Oh,
bit
you're
of
in a
pressure, but I don't think it could put Scott Seiver under too much pressure here, Phil Laak. I mean, he is in the relegation zone, and he needs to make chips, and making chips against Negreanu is not a terrible, terrible place to do it.
All currencies.
That was the card that is going to make Scott Seiver turn this table upside down.
Call.
Call what?
Call.
2 pair.
2 pairs.
Good.
Wait till he sees it.
See this one?
Jungle style.
Runner, runner.
Can I get a 61,000? I'll get it. I'm good.
And for Scott Seiver,
Thank you so
Philly
much.
missed that
checking back that ace has made disaster happen. Not that it wasn't the best play overall.
Things are looking really good for me.
This 4th heat is going crazy. Join us for more in a minute. Hellmuth's gone to the mall. He put on his coat, he took his iPod, and he said, I'm going shopping, boys.
When you leave the table, what is it that's going through your mind? What are you trying to do to kind of put yourself back in the zone?
Well, actually, I was just starving. And when I play when I'm starving, I don't do well. So it doesn't matter how many chips. But also, the other thing was, it was Daniel's big blind. And he knows, and I only have 100, so he's going to shove on me no matter what I do anyway. So I need to pick up the perfect hand and raise it and have Daniel, you know. And so I just thought, I need to get some food because that's going to make me strong and give me a chance to win, and I don't care if it's now. So, I mean, you know, it really didn't cost me much to leave for a hand or two.
Okay, so it wasn't sort of an upset getting up off the table sort of thing.
No, I mean that hand was very interesting against Jungleman. I felt like I was very happy. I felt like I played it perfectly. I almost even folded the river. I was like, this 10 beat me. This 10 beat me like he had pocket 10s. But just the way he had played, combined with my reads, that I had him until the river. And listen, I feel like I played the hand perfectly. There's a part of me that feels like I'm supposed to have 800,000, but it is what it is, and you have to do the best with, with the cards you have and the future.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you get back. Thank you so much.
See what? Okay, now that he's gone, he talks like I make fun of him when we're just having fun, but when he attacks somebody else, I'm not making fun of him anymore. I'm attacking him. Because he does it to Antonio every single day.
Why did he do it to Antonio?
He always calls Antonio stupid and dumb, and that he's not, like, even in that hand against you, he's like, you're dumb enough.
This don't look good on you, mate.
I don't care.
Looks like you can't protect yourself.
No, it's just that I just...
Honestly, it doesn't bother me at all.
No, I know. It's just most people...
I actually kind of enjoy it.
That's true. That's why Hellmuth does it, because he loves Antonio and he does it
No
too.
matter what I do, like if I played the king jack the way he did, where he just made the pot bigger, even though he sucked out and got lucky and whatever, if you have all those chips in his stack, there's no reason to ever do that. Like, he just, 100% if I played it like that, he would absolutely rip me.
For raising the flop.
For raising the flop, 100%.
He's here back now, eating food.
What's that?
He's here now, eating food.
My plan is
He did, yeah, it's true. It's just like a natural thing. Some people rip other people for fun, you know?
Yeah, well, I think it is coherent. He's been to them all, and now he's back. I think he just wanted to put his song on.
Right.
And here he is again.
Oh my God. I don't think I could be happier. Because, the whole thing is, he had a lot of chip. It's like, I mean, you could just talk about that hand forever, because the raise with King Jack is bloating the pot in a spot that you can only do that if you know you're going to make some hero calls and let a guy hang his chips, which is what happened. So how can you fault Hellmuth? Because he did the thing that opened the widest branch for collection of juice. I don't know.
He did. He did.
And he had the heart to hold on like a super beast level 27.
But it's 14,000.
Seiver has a hand. He's just going to play it face up.
These two are developing a bit of a relationship as well, Phil.
Yeah.
Negreanu made runner 2 pair against Scott Seiver's top pair to take pretty much
I saw
most
that,
of
and
his
I
chips.
saw that in the screen, but I couldn't hear it. Right? Yeah, the 5-3.
Correct.
Against the ace. Yeah, that was tremendous.
Scott didn't say
If you're going to
much,
call a
but he
bet, by
wasn't
the way,
happy.
if you're going to call a bet, often it's right to bet. That's what that Seiver bet's about. He's like, well, I'll probably call a bet. I can beat some hands that have value.
Yeah, and that kind of thing. And I was basically revealing my feelings too much in situations which matter. But judging by what's going on, I guess that's not what they meant.
No, I don't think so, because everyone here is heated, ready to go.
Yeah, everyone's just like...
We're at war. This is warriors. Got 8 warriors. Doing battle.
Oh, everybody should get a room. This table's gone secretive.
I sound like I can't check after I do all this, I think it looks fluffier.
There is this feeling, and
you don't get this in cash games. At the end of the hand, all the analysts come out and pick apart the truth. So, you would never just do this in a cash game. There's just too much to be lost. But here it's fine.
We can look at all these point totals and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, isn't it likely that the first 3 people that get knocked out of this heat are the 3 people that are going to be eliminated from the Premier League?
Correct.
It's almost that tight.
It's almost that tight, yeah.
Unless it's Duhamel, of course.
Right, then
but aside from that, there's just a feeling that as the eliminations go, so do the eliminations from the Premier League.
Can we talk about how Marvin is just quietly going to just
get back into it?
Yeah, I mean, he's still living on that original 81 or 71 that was left over from the set check on the river with the, check raise.
Check.
Trickett just trying to keep the pot small to get there with the win on the river.
It's
Seiver's
like
going to represent anything of those cards and hope that, but he's going to get called.
he's only bet 4K.
Yeah. He's hoping that like ace queen and ace jack will fold, but this is just too high a hand. Just going to be a call.
Only raise for value.
I thought, oh, well, then you
I was doing my call.
So I nearly raised for value.
I was like, oh, 3 is a good card. So when you say that, I'm like, oh, maybe I can
You raise and you might raise back. I was like, yeah, might be a good spot.
Raise the snap.
That's all we gotta do is try and extract some value.
Of course. It's like maybe the guy is ace jack.
Yeah.
Jungleman, all the money,
Oh my god.
basically.
I don't think I have it in me.
And it just goes down from there.
It's got so much of me. I want to make it like 60, 70. Just something real stupid.
Boom.
I would have to raise while saying I dare you to call with a 7 or something like that. I would have to like call your hand out.
That's funny, man.
Oh well, pass.
Raise the 9,000.
It is tricky. You can imagine yourself down there and think how confusing it is. Rettenmaier.
I think Antonio can just fold under the gun here. It's just...
Sorry, Negreanu's raised under the gun with the jacks.
Oh, right. I think I would not even play this. Antonio, good fold.
That actually hurts.
Yeah, it does hurt. It does hurt.
That was such a massive.
I would have pulled it under the gun
my
too,
God.
but to a raise I would fold as well.
Wow.
I don't think I'd be able to keep a poker face. I think that's what I think.
What is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I should have done it, man.
Duhamel deciding to peel.
I should have done it. You're always so good there.
Duhamel is supposed to be peeling, you know?
Can't get value.
We don't want to bust you.
I know you don't.
Just fold them. Check.
That's what Daniel said. I don't want to bust you. It actually is very bad. Well, maybe not very bad, but fairly bad.
I mean, Duhamel's only out is this. He's bet. This is a value bet against like 10 jack and stuff. And he's gonna shut down with this call. This is now a shutdown.
Daniel is playing the same way that Seiver played, that a couple of those guys played. They will call, but they will not bet against certain people.
Yep. And Duhamel's sharp enough, and he knows it's a check. He knows he's against something. Ace queen check. Just for the value.
Well, I guess Daniel will do it on the
check
river.
there, but looks like just can't really get called by hand that's gonna. Any hand that calls, you know, it's hard to read it.
Seems to know where he's at all the time, Mr. Negreanu.
Like really, Antonio was probably the last person I should have ever bluffed. Because he was the one that needed to win the thing.
You know about the hand, right?
Yeah, king 9. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like he was the one that needed to win the thing, so he was like the most likely one to call. But,
That's true.
But I just couldn't help myself.
Raise 8,000.
I realise it when I'm doing it, but I just it's in my blood. Yeah, I shouldn't really be bluffing. He's like one of the last guys I should be bluffing, according to the format. But if you think they're going to fold, you just got to do it, right?
Yeah.
8,000.
Trickett's talking about that big bluff from the last heat. King 9 and Antonio's 2 kings, and Antonio agonized for something like 7 minutes on the river before passing them. There was an ace on board, though.
You just like to bluff, don't you?
Negreanu loves that. Worst case scenario, he's left with 38,000
I feel like you've
things
earned it
going.
when you win, right? Yeah. You just flight flop a set and you win, you feel like guilty, don't you?
And when check raise call, like Negreanu has to be worried.
Daniel's check raise for the big blind.
Wow. No, Daniel bet, and then it went raise, and he called. Now he's leading.
You wish you missed?
That's nice of you to say, Jungleman.
There's nothing better than sucking out and getting there on Phil Hellmuth. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I think you're right in this case.
It was a classy thing to say, but you deserve the pot. No problems.
Thank you.
They're talking about the pot.
Yeah, this is an
He's almost
interesting.
going to extract value. If he thought he was beat before, now he knows it's ahead. There's so many hands like 8s, 9s, that, you know. Now he's going for value. He's just.
He is not scared at all, Jonathan Duhamel.
Yeah, now he's going into check call mode because he's like, wow, I have such a good hand. No surprises here.
Yeah, I think any poker that encourages you to play tight is bad.
I agree.
It's not the way poker should be played.
Yeah, but there's also situations where it encourages you to play even crazier.
Yeah.
So it kind of counteracts each other.
But the majority of people have to play tight.
That was a funny sort of hand. What was that bet on the river about from Daniel Negreanu? Was it a beehive bet? A blocker value?
A V triple B bet, I don't know.
I like you kids, but I'm happy about that.
No, I understand.
You just made all the table happy now.
Jungleman still way ahead, but eyes are not at the top. They're on the bottom, like Hellmuth and Rettenmaier, because elimination now likely means elimination from the Premier League.
Join us after the break as our Premier League action continues and these greats of the game scrap for survival. Welcome back to Asper's Casino in London. Group A's last league match now continues as the tension builds in the fight for points. Let's go back over to your commentary team.
Blinds are going to be 3,000 and 6,000 now, and the antes are in play. Right now, there are still 5 players at this table who cannot bagel.
Right.
And as long as that situation is going on, and the Jungleman cannot be knocked out, he can be very, very aggressive and loose in certain spots. As soon as that changes, as soon as someone bagels and people are start having situations where they're guaranteed to be in the top 5, then they can be more aggressive. I think that's the...
It's so true. So
I think that's it. Actually, this is a really strong situation for the Jungleman, whereas as soon as 1 or 2 players get knocked out, it might be more traditional.
Yeah, you just have to keep asking, how has it changed? How has it changed?
It is. It's really frustrating.
Seiver is very frustrated, but at the same time, I believe he knows this strategy as well as anyone.
I got it. I've got something. I told you. I got it.
I got something. I told you.
Wow, he's doing a Phil Hellmuth, isn't he? That's a Phil Hellmuth.
Yep.
Slow him down with
Yeah.
He slowed him down with indignance.
Thank you so much.
He might even bet it.
With some chili paste.
It's kind of hilarious, though, you know?
Chili hot sauce, like the chili. Oh, that's perfect. Thanks.
I have something, John.
Wow, this would have worked if...
I think it would have.
The thing is, the 10 connected with Jonathan. Oh, I got it backwards. Seiver has the 10.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you have it, all right.
I have it.
How'd you prove 15K with 10-9?
All I knew was a double 4 across. I knew I was in the 4 across.
Wow, you really acted to get that free card on the flop. Well done. Oh, I have to have it. I have to have it. You had 9-10. Wow, that's some good acting.
Can you work your side of the street?
What a great retort.
I feel like I grinded my way to this. I would never have had it otherwise if I didn't make all those folds. But it doesn't matter.
That's the filth of the game.
Yeah, it's just, it matters. I guess it matters to me more than it used to. You know, like, I've learned to just say, I played all 3 heats almost exactly the way I wanted to. So.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting each person's betting strategy, except that I know Duhamel can never worry. That's all I can remember. And that Jungle has all.
That's going to be a call. Oh.
It's a raise. That's a raise. It's
Oh.
be 18.
No, it's 4.
Jungle raise.
Yeah,
And it's 12, it's got to be 18. It's more than half.
18, please.
That's 18. It's a raise.
Yeah, and that is that going to reopen the betting? It certainly is.
Trickett's going to be tempted to, well, see, Jungle loves his hand, and Trickett's going to be tempted to think, wait a minute, Jungle could have picked up on that. Sees that we both have miserable stacks. You know? So he might...
Yeah, well, Jungle's folded, actually.
Wow.
And
that's nutty. That is nutty. He's just realizing, I'm just going to let people die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Trickett's trying to decide whether this was a
misclick or whatever, or trying to raise.
Problem is Duhamel covers him on the one hand. On the other hand, Duhamel can't really call light. He doesn't have much of a reason to, does he?
What chips did he put in already? Okay, I'm just hoping.
He's just trying to sort out what that pre-flop was. It meant to be a raise or a call that went wrong? Because the call that went wrong, you might be. He just calls.
Feel like philosophy. I have no idea what's going on.
Once he raised me on the
Wait, what just happened now?
I don't know.
He called?
I have no idea.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Sam Trickett, international gambler.
This is gross because they both have a hand, but Duhamel just way surpasses.
I think Seiver's trying to get inside Sam Trickett's head.
No, Patrick Antonius raised in level 1, and Patrick just shipped like 150 big blinds, and then called with tens, where like he was out, he's out.
Seiver may have been trying to taunt Trickett into getting chips in the pot. Certainly suits his purposes.
Yep.
Scott Seiver may be working both sides of his street.
Over 100 big blinds.
Trickett's gotta figure
The best angle shot of
the hand is jinxed. But there's 105 out there. You have 128. This is not the spot he wants to be putting money in.
You're supposed to have the aces.
Yeah. That's how greedy
Can Duhamel make a hero fold with the 8 high flush and the? He can hero fold.
Wow.
Wow, Trickett got it through. Well done.
Killing me here.
Go, Sam, go.
Well, that's the skill in poker. When you have the weaker hand and you win, that's where the strategy comes.
And I guess, I mean, that was amazing that Trickett realized he could get Duhamel off a hand there. It must be that Duhamel just realizes I'm going to have so many easier spots. Anytime I get resistance, I should know that it's so easy for me to collect chips later. Is there any other explanation?
That's it. I think that's it. And he still has a ton of chips, too.
And that Trickett wouldn't be betting without something really strong. It was almost like a leveling war.
It was where the poker entered and the points left for a second. Oh, wow. Hellmuth has a super huge hand. So big, in fact, that he doesn't have to go all in. And he just limb raises, hoping to get some action. Ace-10 for jungle.
Well, I actually think he's hoping to get re-raise, isn't he? Because, you know, I mean, it's so Hellmuthian, isn't it? To kind of off about 8 big blinds to raise fold.
I love that Esfandiari is just playing real careful. Real careful. I think Rettenmaier has to actually call. He's getting huge odds should he hit.
Sure.
If he knew everyone's hand, he would call. So he should call because there's a queens out there. He should still call. I think.
He must be. I mean, he must just be thinking with 3-way action, there's a chance someone go broke.
Isn't that hand strong enough? How much would it have cost? It would have cost him 12 more. He'd be left with 30. I guess he's in super survival mode.
Strong.
Wow. This is a nuclear implosion. This flop hits everybody. Wow.
Yeah, and Jungleman's got reasons to go bat wild.
Yeah. And
Jungleman's
this is just insane.
When Hellmuth bets here, Jungleman will raise, won't he? For sure he will raise.
Feels like it. It feels like he'll
And what's Antonio going to do? Oh, he has called.
He decides he's a little worried about Antonio. You know, but it's so weird how this strong a hand playing this slow.
Why doesn't Jungleman?
Look at this. Antonio. Oh, my Lord. The one thing Antonio can't afford is some...
Well, Hellmuth's all in.
Of
but
course
now
he
think
is.
about this. I mean,
what
Jungleman could put Esfandiari all in.
Correct.
Antonio cannot call, can he?
I don't think if you go all in, you can't call because you would know your beat.
Jungleman must feel like Antonio has a set here. He has to feel like he flopped a set.
So I guess do you call for a spade or do you raise?
He's called.
I just can't even believe that Jungle is doing this. Wow. The 9 is everyone going to consider pretty much a blank.
We got betting on the side. We have betting on the
Antonio
side.
is just wondering, Jungle. He's in there all the time with wide. He's worried about Jungle. Antonio has to think about shutting down. I mean, it's crazy to shut down with a hand like this, but he's 2-16. He's tied in second pole position. He has to let other people die.
Listen,
he could be out of the league.
Not just that, but
if he gets it in wrong, I mean, he's winning. It's like the nuttiest hand ever because, wow, he's just playing for that small side pot. He figures Hellmuth might have him beat. I don't know. What is going on, chat?
Wow, he's gotten Jungleman off it.
Antonio bet 92,000, kills the draw.
Of course, why wouldn't you? God, you're such a luck bucks. You just always get it when you're low, huh, Phil?
Ace or Jack ends it.
Wow, Jungle did everything right. Look at how Jungle dodges the pain. What is going on?
What's going on? Phil Hellmuth is back in business.
You've been pretty unlucky against me, Antonio, have you?
This has been like way more exciting than last year, though.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it like way more than last year's.
Well, of course you have.
Your group wasn't
last
fun.
year I
Your group
finaled and I
wasn't
was
fun.
like, I always thought I was going to final, but my group was.
Your group wasn't fun.
My
Yeah,
group was not
really
fun.
My group
right,
was really
but
fun
of course
last
you
year
enjoy.
also.
You've got great players here.
Yeah, and it's like
Great banner. We're having fun.
You know,
Yeah.
it's competitive. Everyone can still
You
qualify.
can't
This year
just
it's good.
and you can't just get away with everything you try here against this group.
Well, he can actually. I mean, come on. Have you watched the tape? He literally has.
Duhamel is going
Under the gun,
to
Hellmuth
win
makes
this.
a good fold, ace-10. He's going back into nip mode where he should be with 173. He needs other people to bust, you know?
Yeah.
I think so. I think Jungleman, this is a little loose from the way he's been playing. He's been playing pretty loose. Negreanu keeping
I
it
was
low.
trapping. I was sure I had him on 4th straight.
This is a simple call. Too much action.
Sure I had him
Just
on 4th
flat call. I think Marvin's got to fold.
There's no reason for him to do anything else.
Marvin is thinking I'm getting 4-1, possibly 5 or 6-1 if I call.
Oh.
But he's also thinking the more people in this hand, the better it is for me that I'm not in it, because I need a couple of people to die, and I need to have a real hand. Of course, Sam's going to play. He's got 4 or 5 of diamonds. It's only 12,000 or whatever. There's 53 out there.
This is going to be
It's now on Scott Seiver,
you just get
who has to call as well. Can he squeeze? Is that what he's thinking? Can he squeeze?
Seiver is second in chips right now. Number 2.
I like that call.
And I'll tell you,
Duhamel.
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Duhamel last axe is all in, because I know how it is. All I have to do is get through one guy, he says.
Well, this is the guy, because Negreanu needs chips. And he may have found his spot to gamble.
Yeah.
I mean, this
he
may
knows
be what
that
Negreanu was waiting for.
Right. I think so. I think
forget.
he flatted to call big.
Yeah, Negreanu is the guy in the relegation zone.
Yep.
This is...
You need a spot. If you're in the relegation zone, you have to be more happy to run races and gamble.
The only thing,
stuff.
Phil, is that this is the one guy he doesn't really want to take the chips from, but on the other hand, it is chips. I mean, you know.
Jungle snap folds, of course, the King Jack. That's trivial, but you know, Daniel super under-repped this hand by flatting.
Just doing some math.
It's really sick. It's 177 to
what is
17 to collect 32. He's getting the 1-2, and he might be. I think he's got a call, because if he's against jacks, it's a monster call. He's putting 1 unit to get 2 units, and it's only against kings and ace king and aces that you're. Queens. There's 4 hands. He's got to go all in.
He's done it, and that's
trivial.
really strong.
This is awesome, and I think. I mean, now.
I don't think he ever considers he's against anything but a random hand. I mean,
this is crazy. Antonio has to fold.
Exactly,
It's so sick.
exactly 250.
You have 250.
It's kind of weird with 2 9s. Antonio's kind of handcuffed now.
This is
because 9s does not play good like this.
This feels like a great play by Daniel, and he might end up being the first person out of this Premier League as well.
Even if Antonio thinks he's winning, he knows he's in a race at best. Right? The best he can be is a race. He has to fold. I agree.
Well,
I agree. This is so interesting.
Antonio's got 19 points.
Yes, I'm lying.
Yeah. He's supposed to squeeze and let some people. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
No, I had a pair.
Yes, it's live.
God. All right, suited too.
This is huge.
I was going to call if everyone folded somehow.
Wait,
I had 9. How can Jonathan
I had King Aiden was calling, I swear.
calling him?
Yeah, if it folded to me.
I think it's the right move.
I decided.
I was insta calling with 9. 7 or 4, baby.
Come on.
Everybody's really hard for me.
I was thinking of calling when I was behind. Full 5 suited.
You were just down. I was just like,
Wait a minute. Oh, one of each.
Wow, the 4 was in the door, but the ace peeked out the window.
Don't do that to me.
Duhamel still with 22%. He can get a 5-8 as well.
4. Gotta be a 4.
He was going down to a pair of 9s. He could never get it through.
4, 7, 5.
If Negreanu had folded, Antonio was calling.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, it's trivial. Ship, 100%. You kidding me?
Till.
I'm not sure.
Oh my God. Chips just got
I
flown
have no
back.
idea how much I had. Is the problem.
I don't know how much I had.
Oh,
We can tell you in the booth.
gosh.
Chips just spilled.
I know these.
Oh my gosh!
figure it out.
Daniel Negreanu just got knocked out of the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'll bet that makes the cut.
Here's the standings. Negreanu's out. 2 more players will get relegated tonight. Right now, Seiver and Rettenmaier in the zone. Rettenmaier in a desperately short stack. But the other guys, Antonio for Hellmuth, they are terrified. And they know they can't open up.
And Daniel Negreanu is out of this heat, and unfortunately that means out of the Premier League. Talk to me about what happened here in this last heat.
Well, I mean, I got lucky, obviously, one hand against Scott Seiver, and I looked like I was going to be in good shape. Got unlucky in a hand against Jonathan. And then, the last hand comes up where there's a couple guys that are short, but I need more than a 6th. Like, it's not enough for me to just hang in there because everybody's around the same amount of points. So I needed to double up to make a stand, and actually I would knock Jonathan out, which actually didn't help me, but it would put me in a really good shape to make the top 4, top 3, which is what I felt like I needed. Yeah. And it's so obvious there, based on the way things are, that Jonathan can have 7 deuce offsuit. So my hand is way too strong to fold based on the situation.
Well, hopefully we'll see you again in another Premier League. Unfortunately, not at the final table, as we do lose Daniel Negreanu here tonight. What a match this is turning out to be, with only 3 players guaranteed a seat in the final, and the league table looking very tight. We can expect some fierce action when this game resumes next time.
You just said you're the best in the world at No Limit Hold'em.
I just made the nittiest fold ever.
Because I would pay a lot of money to taser your ass.
I absolutely hate every single one of you with a passion.
Going pretty well so far.
No, seriously, no. Floor.